Hello everyone, right now we're doing something interesting. Remember when you went to school and you were told math would never help you in real life? By the way, math is actually quite needed when you're doing coding and such because there are many values that you have to take into account to be able to pull stuff off. I'm going to give you an example of this right now. Look at the frame per second counter, top left menu there. It is at roughly 60 frames per second. Static right now. I mean, it's pretty much unchanging right now. It's staying right there on the menu. But when I go into the game here, I'm going into the smoother frame skip optimization, which I showcased in my last video for Stun Runner and such. We're at currently 6. And this is not like the old frame skip where it's completely choppy. It could be like a slideshow. This is a more nuanced, smoother frame skip. But the math is there, and you're going to see what I mean when I load the game here. Pay attention to the top left. And remember, we're at frame skip value 6 right now. Pay attention to the top left of the screen and what frame per second counter says. It's going to pretty much refresh right now. And notice the game is running nice and smooth right now. This is actually way more playable than ever before. It's not 51. It's going to refresh to roughly 10 frames per second is what it's saying. That is not the true frame per second. It is actually quite a bit more than that right now. It is probably like more like 26 to 27 frames per second, in fact. And I'm going to show you how this works right now. We're going to go to quick menu options. I'm going to take this down to frame skip 1. And notice the top frame per second counter is actually going to change. It'll change once it refreshes to a higher value, probably around 20. Check it out right now. Watch it at the top left once it refreshes. Give it a couple seconds here. Now it's at roughly 20. Okay, and again, that is not entirely accurate right now, but this is actually running slower than when I was at 6. It is definitely not as playable as when I hit at 6. Now, if I put it at, say, 0, there we go, off completely, it'll jump up to the max it could be at for this particular instance here. It should be a more accurate frame per second counter. There we go, it's at roughly 20.45. So now we're going to take this up right now. And we're going to take it up to, 5. Okay, now it's nice and playable. Again, this is so much more playable. I can definitely get into doing some two-player mode activate. If you played something like a high beats per minute song here, look, it's roughly like 2 to 3 frames per second per instance of frame per second value that you do. So the math is like 3 per number is the way it's kind of working out. This is way more playable than ever before. But it's very, very cool. You can be able to have smooth, more nuanced frame skipping with the release. And the thing is, once you get up to a certain point, and this is kind of like a value, when I used to do coding for Dreamcast Phantasy Star Online, you'd have these spells where you could actually heal your other player friends and such. You'd add like maybe 50, 60 health points, but the thing is, there's a value in numbers, 32767, that once you add one more number to it, it would actually go to a negative value. So in order to do player kill in a game like that, you would essentially have to give enough health points to make it 32767 plus 1, which would be a negative attribute. That's a little bit how overclock and such works as well. So if you kind of do frame skip or overclock too far, watch what happens. It'll actually go to a negative value. So if I go to 11 right now, it's actually going to make the game unplayable. It'll be so far that's resetting to the old frame skip value for this particular game. It's going to be choppy and unplayable right now. Watch. See? This is how the old frame skip used to work. This is bad. And this is not at all accurate. So basically, it's like a bicycle tire going so fast that it's going in reverse. That's pretty much what's happened here. So this is completely off-the-wall charts, 32767, reset to a negative value right now. But in any case, we're going to move on to the arcade version, and we're going to do a full playthrough of it right now. Let's go low content start your dummy. We're going to go to the N64 folder. Here we go. N64 folder. And we're going to go to Killer Instinct. We definitely want to do the arcade version because this is going to be overclocked and it's going to have a nice fix there. Imagine if you're going over speed bumps and you remove the speed bumps. It'll make things less stable. I mean, because you could go out of control, crash, etc. Freeze burn. But we're going to be able to play this fully from beginning to end. That's what I'm going for right now. We're going to do this with the updated. Make sure I pick the right one here. It'll be the Moopin 64 Extreme Amped Overclock Edition. And we're going to be playing Killer Instinct with this. Make sure we have the appropriate mapper here, which is going to be entirely on a Super Nintendo equivalent controller. We're going to play this from the get-go here. And it takes a few seconds to load it into memory because of the way the overclock works. But due to the way the Dynarac works, which is dynamic recompiler, which is absolutely needed, it's a double-edged sword. It actually causes some games to slow down, freeze, crash, burn, etc. And this affects PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, and so on. But we're going to go into quick menu, controls, controls, load remap file, the N64, N64 Max there. And thank you, Mad Franco008 and Black Sunshine for helping out with these. We got 300 plus of these done. We're going to go to Killer Instinct right now. And Killer Instinct Nintendo 64 is actually Killer Instinct Arcade Volume 2, but with a few tweaks and such. So it was really a nice rendition of it. We have that loaded. And we're going to go to quick menu resume here. And let's get this show on the road. We're going to try to do a full playthrough of this game without a crash and freeze and burn because currently it is not possible on any other core. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I'll pick my ninja style character here. Always got to pick him. We should be able to fly right through this whole game from beginning to end. And typically it takes about 30 seconds for the game to slow down, freeze, or crash. We're going to do the entire game right now. And I don't know the combos like I used to, but the idea is just to get through the game as quick as possible. And I finished up watching that Scott Adkins movie, which is Intergalactic Adventures of Max Cloud. And it's a fun movie. If you like stuff like Jumanji with The Rock and such, you'll like it. Because it starts out like a kid's movie, where a kid essentially gets, basically sucked into a video game. And it's kind of like a Double Dragon, Battletoad style video game. And the funny thing is, it seems like a kid's movie and such, but there's so much violence in it. Like some of the enemies he kills, spoiler alert, he's doing like gouging, slashing, stabbing. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like a kid's movie in disguise. It's really an adult movie. I don't know if you ever seen a movie that it comes across like it's a kid's movie, but it's really much more vulgar and violent than you'd expect it to be for a kid's movie. Even Bad Santa's like that. You can see like Bad Santa is being a potential kids movie by the trailer, but it is anything but a kids movie. And the closest thing I saw to Bad Santa recently is probably, like I said, that movie called Fat Man with Mel Gibson, just with how vulgar it tries to be with some of the content and such, and fortitude. I like when they do kind of like mash up like premises where they take like the Santa Claus premise and change it into something very different, like Rare Exports, Fat Man, etc. And like other movies I'm trying to think of that were real fun, like one premise I really like, and the thing that really draws me into movies is a great premise. There's a great movie, and it's called The Guest. It has a guy who shows up at the doorstep of a family and basically says, hey, I knew your son in the military, he passed away and all that, etc., etc. Then all kinds of weird hijinks happen. I don't really want to spoil a movie, but it's one of my favorite Kurt gems to watch. And the same director did a follow-up movie called You're Next, which is a home invasion movie, and one of the people who is being invaded has more skill set than you realize. Just like this more current movie, which I watched called The Hunt, which is very similar as well. And that's a great movie, kind of like Most Dangerous Game. Okay, we're already on the second round here, and we're running very stable. We're going to try to get to this entire game here. Hell yeah. And when are they going to make a live-action Killer Instinct movie? They've done Mortal Kombat, and it was so fun. I even like the more convoluted second one. Just like with the Matrix movies where you have like the second and third one. Oh no, we don't want to lose here. Oh jeez. I need this last hit. Bye-bye. Oh yeah. I wouldn't be able to get to this game in one shot here. But again, no slowdown, freezing, or crash, and burn right now. But yes, You're Next, The Guest. And going back to other obscure movies, one that I watched several times, I love recommending to people, is Satan's Little Helper. Not Santa's Little Helper, Satan's Little Helper. For this little kid, and like I said, some of these movie things are going to be spoiler alerts and such, but Satan's Little Helper has a kid who's, he basically essentially comes across this yard and sees this really crazy Halloween setup and such. And he doesn't realize that the all the bodies and stuff in the yard are actually real dead bodies because the guy is a serial killer. So he starts tagging along with the serial killer throughout the entire movie, not realizing that he's really a serial killer. He thinks it's all fun and games. Just watch the trailer for Satan's Little Helper yourself. Like I said, I'm a big fan of horror movies in general, and I watch about any and all horror movies that come along. I love the real obscure ones. Oh, come on, Saberwolf. Oh, jeez. And wasn't there like an earlier Rare game called Saberwolf? Not the same character, but I remember it being a real early game made by Rare many eons ago. Maybe for the Spectrum or such. We gotta take him down. Oh no. And this is the character I used to always use. No! I'm gonna get this. There we go. We got this. Oh yeah. Maybe I'll do like a fatality and such. Oh, that was close. I was down to a sliver out there. But yes, the Rare Replay Collection is absolutely beautiful. It contains the Killer Instinct Super Nintendo version as well as the Nintendo 64 version. So that's another way of playing these. Again, I'm not getting into the sRGB toggle whatsoever. I'm going to run this game from beginning to end and try to make it all the way. And this is usually where I lost in the arcade version. Me and my friend would play like 38 battles in a row and almost always lose to Glacius. He's a hard opponent to take on. And I love these graphics. I mean, have you ever seen Nintendo Power where they had like the little rotoscope style graphics and showed like the big ass computers they use? I mean, Rare is one of the few companies that was actually able to compensate for the crazy dilemma of developing on Nintendo 64 hardware, because Nintendo was not really helpful with the documentation as far as developing on the system, but Rare was able to pull stuff off. I mean, Konami did some pretty damn awesome games too. Like, I was a big fan of Hybrid Heaven, which is like an action RPG game with brawling and such, like martial arts and all that, kick and punch and all that fun stuff. Oh, jeez. Oh, I need to get this guy down. Oh, yeah. I usually don't throw. I mean, you rarely in competitions see too many crazy combos or throws and such, but Glacius is probably going to take me down because I used to always lose to him in the arcade version particularly. Oh, come on. He's doing that liquid metal stuff like from Terminator 2. Remember the first time he saw that effect? And it was also in, of course, Mario 64 when you went to the lava pits and such. Okay, we got this. We got this. And I'm a big fan of the Killer Instinct remake as well on Xbox One. I especially loved having the Battletoads added to the game. That is so damn awesome and nice fan service there. Okay, I'm taking on myself here, Dark Link style. And how many of you had the original Super Nintendo version, just jammed the hell out of that CD? That was so fun. We're gonna try to get through this whole game. We can do this. And I like how some of these stages have like metal as well. Like I said, I did not have to do sRGB toggle. It's running quite stable right now. And like I said, I need to practice getting better at this game. Oh, I want to be able to knock them off into the pit there. This is one of those pit of doom fatality stages. But let's see what other kind of obscure movies I could actually recommend for you. Some of you might have seen like Charles Bronson's Death Wish movies, but the same director actually did a movie way back called Miss 45, which is another fun one, which is kind of like another Death Wish style movie, but with a female. Kind of a mute female, spoiler alert, gets raped, and then she just goes to town on just taking out the denizens that are bad attribution to the city. Okay, we got that down. Who are we on now? And think of some other obscure movies. And obviously, many of you, when you were a kid, you might have had like these, where they had like a host, like Super Host, if you're in like Cleveland, Ohio area, Big Chuck, Little John, etc., where they'd actually kind of be between commercials, talking about movies, doing some fun stuff, but showcasing various movies. And they'd showcase so many like obscure horror movies that I was just a big fan, like The Car from the 70s, which is like a Christine-style movie, but the movie came out before Christine. So I will think that Stephen King was a little bit inspired by the movie called The Car. Even going back to like an earlier episode of Twilight Zone, where there's actually a car that keeps stalking a guy because he committed a crime. And I don't want to really give away the twist ending, but it was a fun twist ending. And that's what I like about movies. You don't have to have a 3-hour movie to have a fun twist. You can have a 22-minute episode. But if you have Twilight Zone hour limits, you could probably do an hour and get away with a nice twist. And Black Mirror is the most current anthology series I'm a fan of, but I'm also a big fan of the earlier stuff like Boris Karloff's Thriller, you know, the original Outer Limits, the original Twilight Zone. I mean, I remember watching the Twilight Zone marathon, and I just stayed up for days on end to watch the entire series in a row. That was so fun to watch. There are so many interesting episodes dealing with sci-fi, horror, etc. What is your favorite Twilight Zone original episode of all? I'm trying to think of which one I like the most out of all of them. Oh, geez, this is going to get more tricky here. We're taking on Conan the Barbarian. It's like the Aquaman version of Conan the Barbarian. Tusk. Remember Tusk, the Kevin Smith movie? That's a creepy movie. Just like Green Inferno, true horror is something that can potentially be horrifying in real life. Yeah, Friday the 13th, Halloween, all that, they typically kill their people off like quick and fast. But movies like Tusk, it is slow death horror. Okay. What is your most favorite current horror movie that you've seen? I mean, they haven't had as many good ones lately as they've had like in the past few years. But I'm trying to think of like some of the ones I watched in more recent times that were fun. Tusk, like I said, was a crazy Kevin Smith one. Fun movie, but like I said, a horrifying ending to it if you will see. Okay, how close are we to the end of the game here? Okay. And I've been watching some, like I said, some other horror anthology series as well. I mean, they are apparently going to have a Creep Show season 2. I watched 50 States of Fear seasons 1 and 2, and those were both really, really fun. But the Creep Show one, that was on Shudder, was also fun. And I believe it was supposed to be Tales from the Crypt, but they were unable to get the rights, so they just deemed it Creep Show instead. But I have no problem, because I like all the Creep Show movies, the first and second one, plus the third one. They were all fun ones. And I'm looking at some other movies that are coming out. I actually saw a trailer for this, of all things, a Justin Timberlake movie coming up, and it actually looks like a really, really good drama. It's going to be on Apple TV, of all things. And I know, like, there we go. Oh, yeah. I guess that was a fatality. But yes, Tom Hanks was not really, really pleased with the fact that his Greyhound movie was primarily noticed on this platform for Apple TV. So his new movie, The News of the World, it says theaters only. So he had to have had some hoopla and say in that for sure. For sure he said something about that. Okay, we're at least halfway in the game here. Okay. Can we do this? Jago vs. Kim. No, it's going to get much more difficult. I have a feeling I'm going to have... I'm trying to remember what the last boss of the game was. Wasn't the last boss like Eyeball or something like that? A big flying eyeball? It's been a while since I actually last beat this game. Probably a good 10 years. Oh, and I also saw the trailer for Season 3 of course, Cobra Kai, and I'm really, really looking forward to binge watching that when it comes out. That's going to be fun. Always like the original Karate Kids, 1, 2, and 3. Even the Hilary Swank one, you know, another Karate Kid was actually pretty fun. I saw them all in the theater, in fact, too. Oh, jeez. I don't want to have to do any kind of rematches. I want to be able to win. Sprinkles are for winners, right? And I saw this funny meme the other day that was absolutely hilarious, where it showed the ending, and make sure you watch the last episode of Mandalorian before you watch this, but it kind of mashed up the 21 Jump Street remake, where they're watching like cam footage, and they see the ending to Mandalorian, and they stand up and go, oh, yeah! It's just hilarious. It's just undeniably funny. Okay, we're near the end of the game here. We taking on the Dark Stormtrooper right now? Oh, hell yeah. Come on, Falgor. I saw this Mortal Kombat trailer the other day, and it is actually quite convincing as a legitimate trailer, but Black Sunshine pointed out to me it really was a fake trailer. But I'm looking forward to the real deal when it comes out. Another live-action Mortal Kombat movie I'm hoping for. And we're almost near the end of this game, so yes, we have Better Killer Instinct Arcade 1 and 2 for our main 2003 Extreme app. Thank you, Grand2258, Mahoney T944, Arcade 2003, JD Lever, all of you have helped out with some of this awesome stuff. And of course, Bad Monkey, the Anime827, and our community. Genderbent, you rock as well. We're going to have some fun stuff with the upcoming RetroArch release. We got to take out Fulgor. I did not lose yet, so we got this. I was actually able to pull off one fatality, but I like to be able to do one on-screen fatality too, like the lasers and stuff. Okay, we nearing the end of the game here. Come on, come on, come on. You have completed the game on the easiest setting. You didn't see us played on the easiest setting. Forget that. I'm going to edit this out of the video. Okay, my next video, I'll make sure I play it on the harder setting to get a true ending. We'll do the harder setting next time, but hope you enjoyed the video. And me playing on easy didn't get away from you guys and gals. I didn't trick you very well. No, I was actually going to tell you how to do that anyway. But I hope you enjoyed the video. There'll be more to come.